just gonna start this video off by saying that something I think we can all agree on is that Nintendo has made The Legend of Zelda one of the best video game series that has ever been created. I mean, getting the opportunity to play as Link, to be able to travel across Hyrule Field, to be able to travel across time like he does in Ocarina, to travel in the sky like he does in Twilight Princess. There is so much to enjoy about The Legend of Zelda. And yes, in my opinion personally, the game series does have some flops. Like, if you talk to me about Majora's Mask, I'm saying that was a major flop. Or if you bring up the topic of Skyward Sword, I'm gonna say that was a decent game. It just... the story of Skyward Sword was great. The gameplay to it just sucked. And when I say those things about Majora's Mask or Skyward Sword, some of you just might be thinking, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks!" But with every Legend of Zelda game, we can expect that there's gonna be a handful of bosses through the temples, through different areas that we go through, and I want to talk about the top 5 worst bosses in different Zelda games. I mean, for each Zelda game, you work so hard through a temple or some guardian area to get to the final boss, and the temple or wherever you're at turns out to be a lot funner than what the boss fight actually was. So, let's get into the top 5 worst boss fights ever through the Legend of Zelda series. Taking the spot at number 5 is Morpha, the boss of the Water Temple from Ocarina of Time. I hate to start off with Ocarina of Time in general, because it's the game that got me into the Legend of Zelda series, and it's like number 3 in my top 3 Legend of Zelda favorite games of all time. But not only was the Water Temple just a pain, especially on the N64, I never played it on 3DS, but the fact that Morpha, being the final boss, being an amoeba, that is just a giant letdown, man. If you think about it, the Forest Temple having the boss of Phantom Ganondorf playing Dead Man's Volley with the Phantom Ganondorf, him going in and out of the paintings as you shoot the real one, and then in the Fire Temple you got a Fire Dragon Volvagia. You go from Phantom Ganondorf, a dragon, and then you have an amoeba for the final boss. And some parts can be challenging. I mean, during the second phase, the long, water tentacle can split into 2, and when it attacks, if it can grab Link, it'll grab him by the throat and shake him around the room and throw him into the corner where spikes are. So, it can be challenging, but there is that trick where you can hookshot the amoeba into the corner of the room and just slice it until you beat the boss. And the mini boss is funner with Dark Link. He should have been the full boss. That would have been a lot funner than having an amoeba. Plus, that steep ramp that Link has to get up to get to the boss door. That wasn't worth it for the boss fight. Just because of all that, a horrible decision to make an amoeba a boss, just a pain in the butt Water Temple to get through. What could have been a great final boss fight had the mini-boss not been the mini-boss but the final boss? I have to say Morpha takes number 5. Number 4 comes from Ocarina of Time again. I mean, it's another water boss. I don't know why, just Nintendo can't get water levels right. If there's any level related with water related to that level, you know it's gonna be hard. I don't know why Nintendo chooses to make water level related things so difficult, but they do. But this is back when you're young Link and he goes inside Jabu Jabu's belly. It's the third temple as a young Link. And honestly, going inside Jabu Jabu's temple or his belly wasn't even that fun to me. Like, it's fun fighting the jellyfish, kind of. It is fun once you get the boomerang, getting to like fight these electric eels and these parasites inside Jabu Jabu's belly. But honestly, the entire experience is a headache, especially with Princess Ruto when you gotta carry her all around because she's just this little spoiled brat. And Baronade, the boss itself, wasn't even fun. I think it's cool when you first get into the area because you see the vision of what Baronade sees, how he sees Link enter the room, and it's just this giant jellyfish creature that you gotta avoid its electric attacks. It almost seems a little too much for a boss fight, just too much like jumping around, too much like terror happening all at once. If that makes any sense, I gotta say that's the reason that Baronade takes number 4. It was too much commotion going on at once. That's why I would say I wouldn't like it that much. And I honestly thought he was a kind of a boring villain, honestly. Kind of just like an overgrown jellyfish parasite thing. Really weird. Anyway, he takes number 4 in me not liking him. I did not expect these to be water bosses, all of them, but that's how we're going. With number 3, it actually comes from Majora's Mask, and that's from the Water Temple in Majora's Mask, the Great Bay Temple, and that is Georg. A lot of people actually hated the Water Temple in Majora's Mask. That was one of the very few things of Majora's Mask I actually liked. I liked being able to control the flow of water. I liked the colors in the temple, following the different colored paths through the temple, using the ice arrows to freeze the water, to freeze the choo-choos, to do what you needed to get across these gaps and these different puzzles through the Water Temple. A lot of people hated it, but I thought the Water Temple, for the most part, was fun. Until you get to Georg. Georg is probably the stupidest boss fight that was ever created in the Legend of Zelda series. The only reason really he's above Morpha is he's not an amoeba, he's just this giant fish. And it is kind of cool that you get to put on the Zora mask to fight him. You switch between Human Link and Zora Link to fight him. But all you do is stand on the platform and shoot him while he's in the water. And he'll run the platform to knock Link off. If that happens, then Link will get chewed up by Georg. Later in the second phase, Georg will hatch these little babies. So when Link gets knocked off the platform into the water, the little babies will attack Link. So you gotta shoot him with the arrow, which will paralyze him. And then you put on the Zora mask, and then you go into the water to slice up Georg. It's kind of a tedious boss fight, which isn't really fun. I mean, the whole boss fight itself could be done in 5 minutes. The only good thing was the fun part of it was switching between the Zora Link and normal young Link. But just because the boss fight itself is a headache and the boss is really stupid, just a giant fish, I gotta put this at number 3 in being the worst Legend of Zelda boss fight. Number 2 comes from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. I couldn't believe how much effort was put into making Breath of the Wild. It's so much fun exploring the world of Hyrule. But with Thunderblight Ganon being the boss fight, this one took me so many tries to beat this boss. I probably got over 100 deaths trying to beat him, just because there's parts where if you don't time it correctly, like if you've played Breath of the Wild, you know there's a thing called a flurry strike, where if you parry an enemy's attack just at the right time, time kind of slows down, so it gives you an opening to strike your opponent, which is something that is really heavily used in the fight with Thunderblight Ganon in Breath of the Wild. Also, if you hit Thunderblight Ganon, Link will be shocked, making him lose his weapons. And with how fast Thunderblight Ganon with how fast Thunderblight Ganon is, if you don't have that much health, like one swing from that creature's weapon and you're done. The game's over. It's a super hard game, but there is a part where you can like make it a little easier. If you go into the fight with the rubber suit, the damage you take is lessened. If you get hit by Thunderblight Ganon, Link won't lose his weapon if he gets shocked by it, but still, you gotta be really, like, alert of your surroundings in this boss fight with how quick the enemy is. It is very difficult to play, but finally defeating it is very, very satisfying. Even though it's super hard, I take it in number 2, because in worst boss fights, just because how hard it is with the speed, if you don't have the right clothes or weapons, makes it that much harder, but still, it's a pretty good boss fight. You just gotta be prepared for it. And coming in at number 1 in worst boss fights is the mask itself from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The boss, Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask final setting, I mean, it's pretty cool. You follow the mask up into the moon where you're just like in this empty plain just with trees with kids running around. You ask this one kid wearing the Majora's Mask if you want to play a game with him, and he'll say like, you only have weak masks if you don't have all the masks. Do you still want to play with me? You can be the bad guy. And you actually have the option of saying yes or no. Saying yes, you get transported into this other area where you take down the other like 4 masks which have turned evil, which are working for Majora's Mask. But the mask fight itself is just boring, man. Like, the mask does have 3 different phases. It's like Majora's Mask, Majora's Incarnation, Majora's Wrath. But it's just so stupid. Like, the first phase is the mask, which has tentacles at it. You avoid those, and you just shoot down the mask. And what's really stupid is that the music to it, there's no like feeling like the world's gonna end if you don't beat this mask. There's no feeling of terror to it. It's very quiet. And the second phase is like this annoying like little weird pipsqueak little creature thing that the mask turns into that does this Russian dance at some points. Once you knock it down, it'll like throw this little fit, this tantrum, and then it turns into this giant monster thing by the third phase. But still, like, I just felt like there was nothing that would be satisfying once I beat this mask. And I was right. Even the conclusion to the game, like the Happy Mask Salesman, he does get the mask back. Link becomes friends with the Skull Kid. The Skull Kid took the mask at the beginning of the game. But still, the entire game really just makes me feel empty. Like, I felt like I accomplished nothing while I finished Majora's Mask. Like, yeah, you saved Termina, but Termina isn't even a real place. It's like a parallel world of Hyrule. It's just, I hate Majora's Mask. I've never liked it. I've only beaten it once. And I've never, I do play a couple times. I do like it. Like, I get to the Deku Palace, and then I get to Woodfall Temple. After Woodfall Temple is when I lose my temper with the game. But beating it once is good enough for me. Anyway, Majora's Mask is probably the worst villain. He definitely takes number one. Super annoying. Super boring boss fight. That's why he's number one. I do have to say though, if you do have all the masks, when you talk to the kid wearing the Skull Kid mask, he will give you this special mask once you trade in all the other masks. It's called the Fierce Deity mask. Basically, it turns Link into this god. So, the only problem is it makes fighting the mask, Majora's Mask, like, no problem at all, not a challenge. But, yeah, that's another reason why Majora's Mask is terrible. It's basically giving you a cheat. But, so, that's another reason I hate it. Anyway, those are the top 5 worst villains in the Legend of Zelda series games. In my opinion, in your opinion, any of your guys' opinion, you might really like them. I'm just saying, pointing out the facts, what I hated about these boss fights for me personally. Anyway, that's what I got for you. If you like this video, please give the video a thumbs up. Comment what you think is the worst Legend of Zelda boss that you have ever come across. And, yeah, we'll see you next time.